The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. You know, we've had a lot of questions about fan behavior, creator behavior, culture war bullshit, all this other stuff that people are always concerned about. So it's time to really get to the important issues in comics. Shall we do that? Can we just talk about the things that really matter? Not like whatever the fuck Mags or Vita or T or Ethan or whatever the fuck else these people are doing. Can we get out of that parade and actually get to an important comics question? So here we go. Dear Perch, if Wolverine's arm got chopped off, shouldn't it grow back without the adamantium skeleton, considering it isn't a natural mutation? That's the entire mail. Okay. Yeah, that arm should grow back without the metal in it. That makes no goddamn sense. It never did. Look, I mean, the metal was added later. And by the way, this entire conversation and this question has been the source of many a comic store debate. And I'll just be honest with you right now, as a guy who's read tons of comics, lots of X-Men, I've never understood this question because to me, it's super obvious. Wolverine did not have metal when he was born. The metal came later through the Weapon X program. And so therefore, he would not like the metal would not be there. If the arm got chopped off, first of all, if the arm got chopped off, it would have to get through that adamantium, bones. What would happen is if somebody tried to chop off his arm, the skin would come falling off, but that bone would still be there. Like you'd have this weird fleshy kind of stump that's kind of swinging around while the body kind of repaired itself. But to get through that adamantium, you'd have to have something that could cut through adamantium, which is supposed to be really, really hard to do. I mean, we've seen, hell, in early, issues of the X-Men, we saw the cosmic, the power cosmic, roast Wolverine alive, and that skeleton is still there. So if the Silver goddamn Surfer can't get through the adamantium, then you roast all the flesh and the hair off, but yet that skeleton would still be there. And so if that were to happen, you couldn't, the skeleton doesn't grow back. The bones would if you could get through, but it's coated in metal. Now, how they did that, who the fuck knows? I mean, it's some pretty good bioengineering right there, but regardless, to me, it's pretty clear. If somehow that arm got chopped off, fully chopped off, like he's just running around there with the stuff, the arm would grow back, the bones would grow back, but that arm would just have regular old bones. It wouldn't have the adamantium metal-coated skeleton. It would just be a normal skeleton. Now, granted, it would be a normal skeleton that could grow back at any time whatsoever. So, really, in all honesty, the metal bones has a lot, if the healing factor is super fast and powerful, and keep in mind, during Civil War, who was the character? I forget, I'm forgetting his name. Who actually burned Wolverine down to the skeleton, completely exploded, and that Wolverine was nothing but a metal skeleton. That there was no bits of organic matter whatsoever, which I always thought was kind of horseshit. You need to have some aspect of Wolverine's DNA there, and if you didn't have that, then Wolverine couldn't regenerate at all. But for whatever reason, in this comic, I remember that Humberto Ramos drew it. And it was during Civil War. Wolverine went hunting. Fuck, why can't I remember this guy's name? All of you can call me an idiot in the comments. Anyway, but Wolverine went hunting this guy down, and he blew up, and he roasted Wolverine. And Wolverine went down to the metal skeleton, and then his healing factor kicked in, and he basically regrew an entire body from the skeleton on up. But the key is, the metal can't grow back. Everything around the metal can, per canon in the comics, but the metal couldn't. So if you chopped off Wolverine's arm and it fully went off, then a normal bone arm would come back. And that's the hill I'm dying on. That's the right answer. And like I said, I have been party to a number of arguments in comic shops about this particular topic. Would Wolverine's metal arm grow back? I mean, it's not an argument, you fucking idiots. It's obvious. Like, I don't care. This is the bright red line for me. You can grow back skin, you can grow back muscle and tissue and all that other kind of stuff, but he was not born with the adamantium skeleton. That came later. Therefore, the adamantium skeleton would not grow back. There you go. It's that simple. It's very, very simple. So if his bones break, then Wolverine has to head on up to Canada where they have, good old public health care and socialized health care, and basically say, hey, I fucked up my adamantium skeleton, so I'm going to need you to do a repair job. You're going to need to come in here and, hook me up and give me a new metal skeleton. That's what's going to happen. That's it. It's that simple. I don't know why it's so hard. This is basic comic book logic. I don't know. Anyway, so that's where I stand. So how about you? If Wolverine got bits of himself chopped off, would the metal grow back, or just the bone and the organics grow back? And I mean, I'm curious to your answer, but in all seriousness, there's only one answer. He's not growing back the goddamn metal. You're an idiot if you have that perspective. You don't read comics. This is a once upon a time, before everything got really stupid, this was a good comic shop who is actually a true comic fan and who isn't. Because if you're on the side of he'd grow back the metal, you clearly don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're just wrong, is the answer there. So, that's where we're at. I'm trying to think if there's other kind of key things like that in comics. I don't know. There's always the trivia question of, does Batman use a gun? What would happen to Superman if he got injected with kryptonite? If Superman ever had sex with Lois, and clearly he has, but would the super sperm go blasting out of her skull? I mean, there's a lot of interesting questions about superheroes. Does Mr. Fantastic have a stretchable dick? The answer is yes. Lots of kind of crazy things in superheroes. But regardless, Wolverine's metal skeleton, it came later. It can't magically heal back. So therefore, if his arm was chopped off, you'd get a regular arm. Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, of course. And as always, thanks for listening.